And now from our studios in downtown Winnipeg, it's time for 107 Live.
You're listening to the sweet sounds of trumpeter Brian Sykora, and he is my guest for Classic 107 Live today. Brian is going to be performing on Tuesday, February 26th as part of the Music N Mavens series. It is a show called From Baroque to Broadway with the Breezeway Brass. And Brian is, I guess you'd call him the leader of the group. So welcome, Brian. Welcome into the studio.
Good morning. Good to be here.
Good to have you here at 8:30 a.m.
Yes,
and playing some great trumpet music.
I'm not used to playing this early in the day, but got up. Feels good. Ready to go.
Yeah, looking forward to it. We're going to have a bit more music later on. Before we get into a bit more music, why don't you tell us a bit about your career? You're now a sort of semi-retired, I guess you could say, from, fully retired, maybe from the WSO, where you spent so many years. Tell us a bit about yourself.
Right. Originally, I'm from the Cleveland, Ohio area. Went to music school in Cleveland, studied with the first trumpeter of the symphony there. Quite a memorable experience. And my first job out of school was in Mexico City, 2 years with the Mexico City Philharmonic.
Ole!
And touring, that was terrific. And I landed in Chicago for 3 years, playing with a brass quintet there. So we traveled around universities, churches, weddings, you name it. And then in 1984, I won the audition here for first trumpet, and so I moved to Winnipeg and have been here ever since.
And you spent all the time with the WSO?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So,
and retired July of 07.
July of 07.
I mean, 2017.
27. Yeah. Well, I was going to say that. That was a while back. So a couple of years back.
Yeah.
You decided that was good, and you do some freelancing now.
Well, yeah, I felt some of the pieces starting to weaken, and I thought I really didn't want to hang around past my expiry date. Some people do that, and it's not pretty. So that's all worked out very well.
So you've got this gig coming up, but off air you told me you've got a couple other things going on as well in the next little while. What else is on your plate?
Yeah, well, we'll be involved in the upcoming WSO presentation of the Verdi Requiem. I'll just be backstage. You won't see me,
okay.
but I'll be there. And there's an Il Divo show on March 6th at the Centennial Concert Hall, and I will be playing there as well.
Do you have any solos, or are you just sort of doing the...
I don't know yet.
Oh, wow. So okay.
I won't, I'll see the music at some point between now and then, and so I can't tell you. I have no idea.
We'll have to wait and see.
Yes.
Okay.
Life on the edge.
Yes. Well, what about you've got a concert coming up next week with Music N Mavens, and it's called From Baroque to Broadway with the Breezeway Brass. First of all, tell us a bit about the band, and then we can talk about the program.
Well, it isn't necessarily a long-term established group. It was just a group. I got people to agree to do this. And, originally when I was thinking about, because I thought, I'd be asked why this program, and it sort of felt like, it's just a bit of a vanity project, give myself something to do. But then as I was thinking more about it, it's really reflective of, how brass quintet, the idea of it, and playing in quintets has been something in my life for, ever since whenever. It's funny, my family gave me a copy of this record. We call them records.
I remember those LPs.
Yeah, this is the New York Brass Quintet. With this was recorded about 1965. So when I was given this, and I had no idea, but and the New York Brass Quintet was really the first established group. They were first put together in 1954, and that's about as long as the modern brass quintet has been around. Not like string quartets, you know. But that sort of got me interested, and then of course through music school and everywhere in Mexico City we had a group together, and then of course I played nothing but quintets for 3 years in Chicago, and I've had groups on and off here in Winnipeg too. So I just love it. It's a different. Totally different genre than the orchestra. I mean, that's where I always lived and breathed. I mean, that's the rep, playing trumpet in an orchestra. That's the thing. But also to get together with a few friends and play in a smaller group and decide what you want to play and how you want to play it. It's very rewarding.
So who's in the group this coming week with Music and Mavens?
The other trumpeter will be Chris Fensom, who was the principal trumpeter of the WSO, my successor in a sense. And Michiko Singh will be on French horn. And Stephen Dyer on trombone, and Kenton McPeak on the tuba.
And those are all performers with the WSO,
That's
except
right.
for the tubist.
That's
tubist.
right.
Yeah,
That's right.
currently
Yep.
with
Old friends.
old friends. That's
Yes.
kind of cool. So tell us a bit about the program that you've got lined up.
Okay. It's it's an hour show. So there's a few Baroque pieces sprinkled in. The Baroque rep just has always lent itself very well to brass quintet arrangements. So there's a bit of that, and a little bit of West Side Story, just a few tunes from that, and a couple of other things that I arranged. There's 3 of the 9 pieces that we'll be performing, which are arrangements of mine. I mean, they're basically settings. I mean, when I go to arrange something, I don't try to rethink it. I just try to make it sound like as much like the original as I can.
Give us an example of something you're gonna play. One of your arrangements.
Well, the biggest project is kind of a salute to Ennio Morricone, the Italian film score composer. I mean, he's just incredibly prolific. He's done over 500 movies. I mean, most of them are Italian or Italian TV series, but he's done film scores to some movies that everyone would recognize: The Mission, The Good and the Bad and the Ugly, Cinema Paradiso, which is just one of my favorite films ever, The Untouchables, The Hateful Eight. And so I did started work on this arrangement years ago, and then I keep kind of making little shifts as I go, but haven't had that much chance to perform it. And so I'm really looking forward to that.
Well, you're going to play us a little snippet of that right now. Let's have a little listen.
Sure.
And I can tell you while you're getting ready, I'll tell you a short little funny story. One of our listeners, her name is Rita, and she's a huge fan of Ennio Morricone. In fact, I just got a call from her this morning, and we were supposed to play a piece for her birthday, Ennio Morricone's music from The Mission, because she loves the music from The Mission. And I said, Rita, we missed your birthday. I said, we had a note, and we were all ready to do it, and we forgot to play it for your birthday. So look at that. You're here to serenade Rita for her birthday.
I hope she's listening.
She was listening earlier. I hope she's listening now. They're listening to Classic 107 Live. On the trumpet is Brian Sykora. He's performing on Tuesday as part of the Music and Mavens series at the Radio JCC.
Yeah, so, there's 3 different Morricone segments that we're going to play on Tuesday, and the first is basically the main theme from The Good and the Bad and the Ugly. It involves some trills and growls. So that's essentially a bit of that. There's a little trumpet battle that ensues. I just read Morricone was trained as a trumpet player. Went to the conservatory in Rome when he was 12 and studied arranging and composing and the trumpet. So that's why the trumpet is very present in a lot of his film scores. The next segment will be probably the most well-known piece of Morricone is Gabriel's oboe from The Mission. And so on. And then the end is also, the next segment is also from The Good and the Bad and the Ugly, and it's titled The Ecstasy of Gold. There's a shootout with three guys who are essentially want to be the ones to make off with this gold. And so there's sort of a lot of ominous galloping rhythms in the background. And
I'm just going to take cover during the shootout.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Take it up on active, and it gets all crazy and very exciting. So that's that. Mm-hmm. That's an indication of what the Morricone piece will be about. And another arrangement I did is from the piece Love, which was written by another trumpeter, actually, Bert Camford, who was fairly popular way back in the 60s, but Nat King Cole really popularized the tune. Boom. So anyway, that's a little bit of that. And then the final piece that we will do on the program is from the movie Shrek. And the piece is called All Star, originally by a rock group named Smash Mouth. And Shrek, especially the first movie, was a movie that I really enjoyed watching with my sons a lot when they were young. And our quintet at the time, with the WSO group, was going to perform at their school, Robert H. Smith. So Connor was grade 5 and Evan was in grade 2. And so I thought, I have to do something. I have to arrange something that would really, they would really enjoy. So I did this arrangement.
Well, I'm going to tell you, this is the first time and probably the only we'll hear Smosh Mouth on Classic 107.
It's probably truth. And so on.
Well, that sounds like a lot of fun. A really diverse program. Is it from Broadway?
Yeah, it ended up being maybe a bit more movie music than Broadway, but there's West Side Story in there. So there it is. Looking forward to it.
Absolutely. That's Brian Sykora on the trumpet, former principal trumpet with the WSO, freelancer. He does it all now. So he's retired.
That's right.
Apparently he's retired, but he's busy. So go and check him out. His concert is called From Baroque to Broadway with Breezeway Brass, Tuesday, February 26th, and he'll be performing as part of the Music and Mavens series at Radio JCC. To go to Radio JCC for more information and tickets. It's an afternoon concert with some great brass playing. So Brian, thank you for coming in this morning.
Thank you.
Have fun. Keep it up, man.
From our studios in downtown Winnipeg, you've been listening to 107 Live, Classic 107's Intimate Concert Series, the soundtrack for your life.